it was very easy to see that Alfred had sales of $17,000 a year, and that I was not going to make a living if that's all there was. My father had a stroke a year or two after I began, and so being an only son, I was sole support of my family. I couldn't support myself. I didn't know how I was going to support my family. I knew we had to expand, and so we had to publish books, but you need money to publish books. So I made a graph of our sales, a projection, a business plan, everything I had learned at City College. And it was so easy in college, and it wasn't too hard now. Made an appointment with the loan officer at City National Bank on 42nd Street, and appeared on time. I made my presentation, and I was 3 or 4 minutes into it. And he said, "No way am I going to loan you money to print music books." I said, "But I explained the purpose of it." He said, "I really don't care. How much money do you want?" I said, $15,000. So you got $17,000 in sales and you want $15,000? No, you're not going to have it. I was so disappointed. However, he said, "If you want to buy a sailboat, I will loan you $15,000. I said, "I didn't want a sailboat. I don't know how to sail a boat, and I wouldn't know where to put the thing if I had it." He looks at me and says, "Let me say this again. If you bought a sailboat, I would loan you the money. I wouldn't ask you for a bill of sale. I wouldn't ask you for the name of the manufacturer. I wouldn't ask you how large the book is, excuse me, the sailboat is. And I wouldn't ask you where you keep it." So he looks at me. I said, "I don't think I understand this." He said, "Are you sure you graduated college?" "No," I said. "Can I start over?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "I'd like to buy a sailboat, $15,000. He said, "Fine. Here, fill out this form. Purpose of loan, put in sailboat, sign here, and you'll have your money next week." So that was my introduction to the financial end of it. Over time, I developed a fleet of sailboats. I have no idea where they were, but they were mine. Now that I had the money, I had to figure out what to do with it. I was the only one who knew music in the company, and I didn't know it all that well. Elvis Presley had become popular in the 50s. Folk music was being revived in the early 60s. There was the Weavers, Peter, Paul, and Mary, a number of Joan Baez. And so I thought putting out a guitar method might be a very good idea. I looked for authors in New York. Anytime someone wrote a magazine article, I called them up and said, "Would you like to write a guitar method?" The answer was no. If I went into music stores, if there was a name I saw repeated on guitar books, I would call that author up. And they would say no. After all, I was now the youngest and the smallest music publisher, and who would want to write for such a company? So I really got angry at the rejections. No one likes rejections. I don't particularly like them. So I just got angry and said, "I'll write one myself." I bought 2 guitar books. I bought a guitar, taught myself how to play, and I seemed to have a natural instinct of how the book should have been laid out. I wrote down what goes on every page. I'm not a composer. I'm not an arranger, but I am a good writer. I wrote the definitions. I know what was public domain, what wasn't. Suggested the songs, where they go on each page, and found a freelance writer, wrote the book, and the book became very successful. And Alfred was on his way. Followed this by piano methods, technique books, theory books, flashcards. Ultimately, Alfred published in every area. Not only in every area, but we expanded the company to overseas. We have a distribution company in Australia, sales offices in Singapore, London, Germany. Ron's got his hands full. But I never in my life wanted to be, after I started, anything other than a print publisher. I was happy doing that. If we get any income from exposure to CDs or performances, it's a byproduct of print. I want to tell you a little story, then I'll be finished. I saw a movie about 20 years ago. It was called City Slickers. Jack Palance was in it. Billy Crystal had the lead. And it was about 3 New Yorkers who were suffering in their marriage and in their businesses. And they felt that if they would go to a dude ranch in Arizona, somehow give them a little time to think how they could straighten their lives out. So out they went. One night they went camping. Jack Palance was the laconic cowboy, monosyllabic, and they said to him, after they were drinking a little, "What's the secret of life? What's the secret of happiness?" And he went like this. Well, they had a big laugh over that, and they joked about it, and then they turned back to him. He said, "What does this mean?" He said, "The secret of happiness is to do one thing and do it well." And that's the way I feel about me. I love what I do. I love working with composers and arrangers. I like the human interaction between our customers, even our competitors. I enjoy the whole process. We're a small band of brothers and sisters who believe in music. We're fighting an uphill battle against those who would reproduce our music illegally. It's an unpleasant situation for people who are creating a product that is so joyful, so pleasant, enhances people's lives. We shouldn't be faced with this. But we will overcome, and I just want to say that it has been a pleasure for me to work side by side with you, to walk with you, and for you to be here with me today. It's been an honor and a privilege. Thank you.